All right, Tulsi Kratz, maybe a few Bernie Kratz, whoever is out there watching these videos. By the way, I appreciate the folks who've stepped up and supported me over on Patreon. By the way, that Patreon link is also for my music-based video channel where I talk about rock bands and so forth. So if you get over there, don't be thinking you're at the wrong place. You're at the right place. I'm just kind of consolidating my revenue stream, which over the summer months, the other channel isn't doing so well. And this channel over here, the videos are monetarily censored for about 24 hours, where I get most of my revenue stream. So if you could maybe go back and watch a couple of those videos again. I know it's a lot to ask people to do if they've already seen the content. Just play it in the background while you're doing your laundry or washing dishes or doing some menial task. And what is very ironic is the video I'm doing here is highlighting why I support Tulsi Gabbard and why I would support Tulsi Gabbard if she ran as an independent, if she ran as a Green Party candidate, if she ran as a Libertarian Party candidate. I would follow Tulsi Gabbard to those different parties. I know she's trying to do something sort of counterintuitive here in the Democratic Party. I don't have a lot of hope on the outcome, but I am 100% in her corner. This is what our democracy is about. It's about free speech. And people shouldn't be able to control your thoughts via the way they decide to reward people. So if, for instance, I do this video and it gets flagged, it's not appropriate according to the algorithm, and then it takes 24 hours and somebody finally gets around to manually reviewing, actually watching the video to see the content for themselves and to determine that I have not said anything offensive to advertisers. In fact, I welcome advertisers. I want to be what YouTube talks about. I want to be. I want to be a partner with YouTube in helping bring traffic to their platform. But instead, I get resistance. And I'm not a controversial person. In fact, I have recently eschewed all of the hatred that is on the left, quite honestly, where people who have different opinions than they do are then called all kinds of names. But is Google actually embracing the people that call other people names? Terms like racist and bigot, homophobe, because you don't share every value that they believe is a value that we've all collectively somehow just agreed to. Look, free speech is free speech. Now, Tucker Carlson here does, again, a wonderful job. I lost viewers because I praised Tucker Carlson. I really don't care. Tucker is, I think, a fair-minded journalist. He is certainly on the right. And he and I probably disagree on a few things, but every time Tulsi Gabbard goes on with Tucker Carlson, things typically work out really well. It's about 1 minute and 43 seconds, and it's worth watching, so here it is.
We've done a lot of work on this program to expose the bias and corruption at Google, which is the world's most powerful company by far. But Google and its employees don't just have it out for conservatives. We want to make that clear. Google is hostile to anyone who challenges the status quo, since Google is the chief beneficiary of the status quo. Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard learned that the hard way just after the first presidential debate, where Gabbard was the single most searched Democratic candidate. Google blocked her from being able to buy new ads. Now she's become the first presidential candidate to sue Google. She's accused them of censoring her message. We are happy to have Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard join us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks very much for coming on. Tell us
Thanks, Tucker.
the point of this suit.
Here's the bottom line. This is really about the unchecked power that these big tech monopolies have over our public discourse, and how this is a real threat to our freedom of speech and to our fair elections. So this really isn't about me. It's about taking action on behalf of the American people. Because we've got to understand here that if Google can do this to me as a sitting member of Congress running for the highest office in the land, then that means they can do this to any candidate running for any office anywhere in this country, and frankly to any person in this country. And that's why it's so important that whether you're a progressive or conservative, whether you consider yourself on the left or the right, we all have to stand united to protect our freedom of speech. Because look, today it's me, tomorrow it could be you.
And that's the video. That's and she sums it up in a brief period of time, like I said, about a minute and 43 seconds. And what's more important than this, people? You know, we talk about, the big ticket issues. If we're not able to say what we need to say on a platform like I'm on right now, I'm not swearing. In fact, I purposely don't use F-bombs. See this guy here? He uses a lot of F-bombs. And I love Jimmy Dore. I love him. And there are a lot of other guys on YouTube that are constantly throwing out expletives. I don't know what it is about certain people that are able to, I guess, use certain language and get away with it and not be censored or not be demonetized and so forth. So it has to come down to ideas. And my idea is that both parties are broken. Both political parties are broken. There is a deep state establishment which controls the way we think. It controls what we buy. It is detrimental to the well-being of society as a whole. And it is doing its best to stifle individual thought, creative thought, and the freedom to just think and pursue happiness. And honestly, it's happening. Tulsi Gabbard is the only candidate so far that has been consistently calling out all of these different things in the establishment and doing it in a way which could unite both the left and the right. I did a video and people laughed at me. They mocked it. They said, "You're crazy." She could win all 50 states. If she was the Democratic nominee for president, and the Democratic Party knows this, she could win all 50 states. And it's dangerous that the country would be unified. Here's why it's dangerous that the country would be unified to these people. Because no more division, no more television shows where you've got just angry people all the time. People could look up to a President Gabbard and say, look, this is a strong woman. We got our first woman president. For all of you folks that care about identity politics and intersectionality, both of which, by the way, are toxic and need to be destroyed, because you should have merit-based politics. You should have politics based on ability. And if somebody happens to be a woman of color or a old white guy, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter. But we've become a different world now, where people are keeping score, keeping track of things. And meanwhile, the big issues, as I often say, the big ticket items are being neglected. Tulsi Gabbard has a great opportunity to talk to everybody about Medicare for all. She's got a great opportunity to talk to people about the endless wars that are going on in the name of our country. And many people in this country don't even know how many wars we are currently engaged in. It's a conversation we need to have. And platforms like this one should be facilitating thought and freedom. That's the kind of freedom the country was built on. You're slowly closing in on everybody, both left and right, who are outside of your predetermined and self-determined mainstream thought. Okay, so if I'm outside of your thought, then all of a sudden I'm a danger, or I'm not friendly to advertisers. Have you asked the advertisers what they actually would want in content? And did you ever think of maybe tailoring the content? In other words, one advertiser might not like me, but another advertiser might love what I'm doing and want to be a part of this. You're not even allowing advertisers to help determine this process. So if you're saying that I'm not ad friendly, my page is not ad friendly, who have you consulted on that? I mean, you're not doing any favors to people that want to, advertise their products. You're not being a good partner with those people. You're not being a good partner with me. You're not being a good partner with them. And Tulsi Gabbard here is calling the whole thing out. She's saying enough. And I'm glad she filed this lawsuit. And I don't know what's going to happen, but it took some pretty good sized cojones to do this. And, everybody gets on Trump for saying the media is the enemy of the people and so forth. Obviously not a very tactful phrase by Trump, but honestly, if you're going to be honest, yeah. And it's left people and right people, and it's not just one ideology. You may not like all of the stuff that Trump says, and that's one of the reasons I'm not supporting him, because I think he's too divisive of a figure to bring the country together. Whereas Tulsi Gabbard is just the opposite. She knows exactly when to tone down the rhetoric, but yet she puts her money where her mouth is when it comes to issues. Okay? She's not just driven by platitudes and, she's not Kamala Harris. She's not Beto O'Rourke. She wants to get down to business, and we all should follow her lead and put service above self. That's why I continue to do this channel. Yeah, I know I changed the name up and it freaked people out, but I'm still 100% Tulsi. I have questions at the end of it all. I don't know where the money's going to go if Tulsi doesn't win. If the DNC gets her money because she pledged, to kind of be a part of the DNC, and it's not her fault. She had to run, and she decided to run as a Democrat. Obviously, she is a Democrat. She serves as a Democrat. So that makes sense. But at the end of it all, if they just use her ideas to get more money into their coffers to support whoever the eventual nominee is, if it's not Tulsi, then we got work to do, people. We have to start something large that's outside of, and I've been saying this since the very beginning, it's got to be outside this two-party nightmare that we're currently in. So, in any event, Tulsi Gabbard going on with Tucker Carlson, sounding great, looking great. This is my candidate till the very end. I don't care what happens. In fact, I would try to orchestrate some kind of a write-in campaign or independent campaign if she isn't the nominee. And quite honestly, as we stand tonight or today, it doesn't look as though she's going to be the nominee. But man, oh man, she could catch fire on this second debate. And then what's going to happen? Are we going to see more censorship of advertising and just really dirty practices? Things that you would never think you'd see here in America. But the technology has changed the country, and now it's easier to steer people's brains in their thoughts into one area. Whereas before, people kind of collectively got all their news and information the same way. Now, people go on these platforms, and the platforms are so influential, and everybody is so tuned into certain things that I don't even think it's kind of like they don't even realize that there's electronic hallucinations, as I think it's Chris Hedges that says this. It's like a world filled with electronic hallucinations, and we're all kind of being sucked into it like a vortex. And it's creepy, it's scary, and this is a shot across the bow, and I hope it continues. And I'm sorry, by the way, YouTube, after the manual review here, I'm sorry, but you guys, what am I saying on this video that's like unfriendly for advertisers? What is it? I'm a family guy. I love my wife. I have kids I love. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Someone needs to explain it to me. And actually call me and explain it to me. Send me an email with an explanation as to why I'm not ad-friendly for your channel and why your algorithm trips every time I do a video about Tulsi Gabbard. It's not fair. It's not normal. We live in America. Remember? This is supposed to be the land of freedom and free speech. It's just ridiculous. All right, I'm done.